Happy Wednesday, UnWoke Nation. I'd like to welcome you to episode 180 of the UnWoke Show, where free speech is welcome, all subjects are on the table, and your boys Rich and Tim bring you the latest and greatest for your entertainment. I am your host, Rich. I'll call my co-host here. How you doing, Tim?
Great, Rich. UnWoke Nation, guys, glad to be speaking with you this evening. By now, you know where you can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, as well as you can reach us directly at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Again, that is feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Keep it coming. We love hearing from you guys.
And remember, guys, it's like, yes, definitely share the show. We love you.
Yep. Always open to new topics and new ideas. But tonight, guys, we are diving into episode 180, the protest industry. Okay? Something has changed, and I don't think most people have fully processed what they're looking at. For decades, when Americans thought, we thought about protesting, we pictured citizens gathering in the streets because they were angry about something.
Right.
Okay. Maybe it was war, civil rights, taxes, government overreach. We showed up, made our voices heard, and then we went home.
Right.
Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But now, not so much.
It's a little different, huh?
Yeah. Recent reporting surrounding the anti-ICE demonstrations in Newark revealed something interesting. Encrypted signal chats.
Oh, this is a new term, Tim. I have not heard that.
Yeah.
Definitely inform us.
Coordinated communications. Organized logistics. Supply request. Fundraising efforts. Planning. Lots of planning, actually. Now, before anyone starts throwing things at the radio, let's be clear. There's nothing illegal about organizing a protest. That is true.
Right.
Okay. As long as you're doing it peacefully, it's all good. No issues.
Yeah, right to expression. That is true.
Again, there's nothing illegal about using Signal.
Right.
Okay. There's nothing illegal about fundraising. Again, that is true. So the question isn't whether we have the right to protest. The question is whether modern activism has evolved into something far more sophisticated than we realize. Because when you step back and look at it, protests today often resemble startup companies. And it took me a minute to kind of grab what...
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to put it.
So let's break it down. And just like in a company, you have your communications team.
Yes.
You got your marketing team. You got your fundraising team. You might have volunteer coordinators, legal support, media outreach, brand management. And sometimes it feels less like a movement and more like an operation. So tonight, we're asking the question, have protests become an industry? Okay. So we're going to go from grassroots to infrastructure. As we've said, years ago, organizing a large protest was difficult. You needed phone trees. You call somebody, they call somebody, they call somebody, they call somebody, right? You needed flyers, community meetings, word of mouth. It took time. With the advent of the information superhighway or encrypted messaging, you can reach thousands of people in minutes.
And I figure, also, and I don't know how much UnWoke Nation is used to, but there's been a lot more people using things. You mentioned Signal previously, but also Discord is also another.
Telegram is another.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So there's many different platforms that are probably used for operations like this.
And think about it. Fundraising platforms can collect money instantly. Venmo me this.
Right.
Cash App me this. Crowdfunding can pay for transportation.
Right.
Messaging apps can coordinate activities in real time. It's amazing to think that technology has removed nearly every barrier that once limited mass organization. Depending on which side of the fence you're on, it's either good or bad. But I think we all agree it's just the reality that we're living in today.
Yes.
But it still does not change the nature of activism. Because when organizations become easier, scale becomes easier. Okay. And when scale becomes easier, influence becomes easier. Just hop on YouTube.
So if we look at how it was just about, say, 3-4 months ago or so, and I know one of the big, you say protest organizations that was going on is the No Kings organization.
Yeah.
So, and I think, when you're saying how, when organization comes better, scale comes better, that was a very good example of how no one had ever heard the term going into February and all, but I think it was like right around spring, they started doing a lot more. And the thing was that, these No Kings organizations were not just like you say in your typical towns like New York and all, but I mean, they were in obviously Los Angeles and, Philadelphia and in some towns in the Midwest like Denver and so like that. And it was just amazing how
about our second topic tonight?
Yeah. Yes. Right.
How about the Me Too movement? Yes.
Yeah, that too. That's right.
You don't think any of those BLM movements weren't organized over?
Oh, absolutely, man.
Right.
So absolutely. I mean, to the point that they had certain people were like presidents of, you could say, Black Lives Matter chapters and stuff like that, and all different types of towns.
Yeah. So protesting has now become professional.
Yeah.
And here's where things get interesting. Every successful organization eventually develops infrastructure. Political parties do it. Corporations do it. Nonprofits, activist groups do it. The moment a movement becomes successful enough, it starts building systems. Again, we mentioned the Me Too movement.
Right.
We mentioned Black Lives Matter, right? That infrastructure consists of communication systems, fundraising systems, recruitment systems, whether that is in person or, again, through Signal chats. You've got training systems, leadership structures. And guess what? That's exactly what businesses do.
Right.
It's what campaigns do. And it's interesting that...
Paid volunteers.
Yes. That's what activist organizations do. The Newark story isn't necessarily unique, okay? It's simply giving Americans a glimpse behind the curtain. You go to a protest, what do you see? You see the crowd, you see the signs. We never see the planning, right? We never see the logistics. Maybe we see some confrontation, right? We don't see the months of preparation that occurred beforehand. The event is visible, the infrastructure is not.
Right.
Okay. Now here's my favorite part. It's the group chat revolution.
Okay.
Okay. I personally, get me out of group chat hell. Mine's with family or some friends, or sometimes it's work. I'm just like, get me out of this.
Okay, hell. Tim, how many dings do you get a day from family?
You know what
I know I get that, and it's sometimes like
I know our listeners get that.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, you guys are probably getting that too. It's like, you can only hear, Aunt Emily talk about how she's bringing the tuna casserole to the weekend family get together, and it's like, okay, I got it. It's like, turn this off.
So let's talk about Signal. Even though Signal isn't really the story, okay? The technology is just the latest tool. 20 years ago, it would have been email. 30 years ago, it would have been phone calls. 50 years ago, it would have been face-to-face meetings. The real story in all of this is the coordination.
Right.
Technology has dramatically lowered the cost of coordination. Okay. Small groups can now operate with levels of organization that once required major institutions. That changes politics. That changes activism.
Yeah.
That changes public demonstrations. And it's, for me, the most interesting part of all this is how quickly movements can grow.
And actually, Tim, it's good that you brought up about Signal and all. We actually looked up some statistics and according to backlinko.com, where it is shown where there's about 70 to 100 million monthly active users, and actually for downloads just on that platform alone has actually been, this is actually up to date where it's as of early, just basically a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, over a year ago today, like that. So it's actually been, for Signal, there's been 193.8 million downloads of the app. So that makes a lot of people move pretty quickly.
Yeah. And what's interesting in all this, technology changes everything. Think if you had a crystal ball and I said, what does the future political battlefield look like?
Good question, man.
I guarantee you it's not social media.
Yeah, because, it's the thing is, and we talked about this before, but we look at how when Barack Obama ran for president, and also what made that such an unprecedented first campaign, it was the first time that social media was truly used in human history, and to see how much it is. But now, like you're saying, where there's such a there's been so many other ways where social media has gotten better, and also, and even like you said in this case, being cheaper. That it's like, yeah, and it can make more impact.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I mean, I could see how that could be ran as a business now.
It's amazing to think that the new battlefield could be private group chats where thousands of people coordinate activity long before the public ever sees anything.
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at 139 million people downloading the app a year ago.
Yeah. And this is where the conversation gets really uncomfortable. Because the same tools, they can be used by everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Left-wing groups, right-wing groups, your tree huggers,
yep,
labor unions, immigration advocates, religious organizations,
yeah,
political campaigns, community groups. Everybody has access to the same technology.
Yeah.
The question is, who isn't using it? The question is whether Americans understand how much organization now exists beneath the surface.
Let me ask you this, Tim. Do you think where with something like that there possibly could be, you could say, kind of like a monitoring of it at some point?
Well,
if let's just say, things got like a little out of control or whatever.
You mean like Pete Hegseth broadcasting
military? That was a bad idea.
Military plans before we bombed Iran long ago.
You might not want to do that, but come on, Sekwar.
Has all this technology taken the romance and spontaneity out of trying to really organize what I would call an OG protest?
Okay, explain. Come on, man.
You had to talk to people.
What?
You had to have flyers. You went out, the phone tree.
People still talk?
Did you talk to your neighbors about it?
Oh,
okay. I don't know. Sometimes, maybe, but increasingly, there may be far more planning involved than we realize. And that's worth understanding regardless of your political beliefs. So where are we going with all this? Well, the Newark protests will eventually disappear from the headlines. Okay. Another controversy will take its place. Another protest, another movement, another viral movement. I think we've already got another viral movement brewing on Blue Sky and Twitter and all of social media right now that we're going to cover next, right?
Yep.
But the bigger story isn't going away. Technology has fundamentally changed how we organize. The barriers are lower, the reach is greater, and the crazy thing is the speed is faster.
Yeah.
Okay. And the infrastructure behind modern activism is becoming increasingly sophisticated. It's not happening over Instagram, Facebook, MySpace. If any of you guys remember MySpace or any of the other public forums or chat groups or anything like that, right? It's all being done through apps and behind the scenes.
And you know, the big thing about it, like you bring up about how, you know, you have certain community groups on Facebook and also, but what makes these also unique too, Tim, is that the people who are the major organizers, and also they're hard to detect because how easy is it to come up with, you know, Red Bunny Pirate and figure out exactly who that person is. So even if you have a person that says they do something where they're going to do like a mass trashing of a mall or something like that, you can't detect who's the person that did it. So that makes it even more of a situation.
Yeah, to follow up on that, depending on your political views, that's either progress or a problem.
Yeah, way to put it.
Yeah. But one thing is certain. The future of political movements, it's not going to be fought in just the streets. It won't just be fought on television. It won't be fought on radio. It won't be fought on social media. It will be fought in private networks, encrypted chats, fundraising platforms, and digital communities long before the rest of us ever see the final product. Because in 2026, the most important part of a protest may not be the crowd. Okay? It's probably the operation behind it. And that is something worth paying attention to. UnWoke Nation, we're going to leave it right there for you guys. We'd love to get your feedback on this story. You can reach us again at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Again, that is feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Rich, a pleasure as always, man. And remember, stay unwoke.
See you next time, guys.